Hello and welcome. Today we're going to dive into a really fascinating modern philosophy from Korea. And it's been making some serious waves because it gives these incredibly bold, direct answers to some of life's biggest, toughest questions.
I mean, come on, who hasn't felt that? You're trying to navigate this incredibly complex world. You're trying to figure out what your purpose is, and there's that little voice in your head wishing for a simple set of instructions to just make it all make sense.
Well, the philosophy we're exploring today claims it's exactly that, a user manual for humanity. It's called Jungbub, which you can translate as the righteous law. And it offers this grand theory for, well, pretty much everything, from the Big Bang all the way down to how we have our daily conversations.
So let's just jump right in. Here's the roadmap for today. We're going to start with the founder, then get into the core cosmic laws that he talks about. After that, we'll figure out our place in this whole picture, look at this new era we've supposedly just entered, and then we'll wrap it all up with some practical tools you can actually start using.
Okay, so the teachings of Jungbub come from its founder, who's known as Chunggung Singnam. Now, his style is famously direct. It's totally unfiltered. It's really designed to break down your preconceived notions through what some people even call a kind of shock therapy.
And this quote just nails that approach, right? The core idea here is that a lot of our struggles come from relying on common sense that's either totally flawed or just completely outdated. So, according to Jungbub, the very first step to a better life is to seriously question those fundamental beliefs we all hold.
All right, let's build on that. To really get a handle on Jungbub, we have to start with its most fundamental principle, what it calls the operating system for the entire universe. This chart really simplifies the core concept. Jungbub says that everything in existence, and I mean everything, follows a 70-30 rule. 70% is the invisible, non-material world of energy, what they call great nature. The other 30%, that's the physical world we can see and touch. And they're not speaking metaphorically here. This is presented as a fundamental law of reality. So you might be asking, how did this 30% physical world even come into being? Well, Jungbub has its own explanation for the Big Bang. While science has observed that it happened, Jungbub tries to explain why it happened. So the key takeaway here is that the material universe isn't some cosmic accident. No, it was created with a purpose, to deal with this 30% imbalance. You can almost think of it as a massive cosmic cleanup project for this turbid or impure energy. And that, believe it or not, is where we come in.
And this brings us right to the big question, doesn't it? What is our purpose? What's our role in this huge cosmic drama of purification?
Jungbub finds a clue hidden right in the Korean word for human, Ingan. You see, the character gan means in between, or the space. So in this view, a human isn't fully spiritual like a god or fully physical like an animal. We are this unique composite being, existing right in the space between those two states. So our existence has a very clear mission. Your body? It's just a temporary vehicle, a tool. Your spirit, which is your true self, is a little piece of that original cosmic energy. And planet Earth, it's the ultimate school, a training ground created specifically for us to use our physical lives to learn, to grow, and to finally purify that 30% of turbid energy that we all carry inside.
Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting. According to Jungbub, the whole curriculum for this planetary school has just fundamentally changed. We as a species have crossed a massive threshold into a brand new era.
For thousands and thousands of years, during an era they call Shin, humanity's job was simply to accumulate. We gathered knowledge, we built civilizations, we developed technology. But as of 2013, we entered a new era called Huchen, and the mission is no longer to accumulate, it's to apply everything we've learned for the good of everyone.
So this new era calls for a new kind of person, a concept that's actually deeply rooted in Korean culture called Hongik Ingan. And this is more than just about being a good person. A Hongik Ingan is someone who's absorbed all the knowledge from the past and now feels a responsibility to use that wisdom to help and guide other people.
All right, let's bring all this cosmic stuff down to Earth. In this last section, we're going to see how this huge idea actually translates into practical tools that you can start using, like right now.
One of the most famous practical teachings is taking that cosmic 73 rule and applying it to how we communicate. So when someone comes to you with a problem, your job is to listen for 70% of that interaction. You're just absorbing their words, their emotions, their contradictions, all of it is data. Only after you have that 70% of the picture do you speak for the final 30%.
And let's be super clear here.
This is not about being passive or submissive. It's a strategy. When you listen for that 70%, you're not giving up your power, you are collecting it. You're getting the upper hand by truly understanding the situation, so when you finally do speak, your 30% isn't just more noise, it's a targeted, effective solution.
And this slide really just lays out the ultimate goal. We spend our entire lives gathering knowledge, facts, experiences, everything. Then, through teachings like Yungbub, we start to understand the truth, these fundamental laws of nature. And when our knowledge and that truth finally connect, there's this internal explosion they call muliteojida. It's like a law of physics just clicks into place inside your head. That's enlightenment. And from that point on, you don't just have knowledge, you have true wisdom, the ability to create real solutions that can actually help the world.
And that leaves us with the final, really provocative question at the heart of Jungbub's message for our time. The age of simply gathering information? That's over. The great project of building humanity's foundation is done. The question now for every single one of us is, how are we going to use it?